Step 1, design your wall bed. Take all your measurements, get them on paper first before you start to put it on the wall. After you get your wall bed, put it up against the wall, take all your measurements again, and double check everything. The bed is going to need to be anchored to either the wall or the floor, or preferably both, but it's going to need to be anchored securely because it works with a piston lifting system. Now my design is pretty straightforward. All the parts and materials I got from my local hardware store. It's basically just some timber and some flat panel sheeting, and all screwed together, and the bifolding doors which I will use on the front of the bed to hide it once it's closed. At the end of the video there will be a list with all the tools, fittings, and materials that will be required to do this project. One of the tools you will want to have is a table saw, but don't worry about it if you haven't got one. Most timber merchants will cut your wood to the required size you specify. Now, when it comes to finishing your woodwork, you want to have considered this at the beginning of the project in the planning stage, whether it's varnishing, whether it's painting it, whatever you want to do, it needs to be taken into consideration at the beginning. Myself, I like burning the wood. This is a new thing I've been doing for a little while now, actually, with the woodwork I have in my living room. And as this is going in the living room, it needs to tie in with the work that I've done previously. See phase one, my desk. Um, it's quite simple. It's a softwood. It's pine, so it burns very easily. There's basically two textures to the pine. You got soft and softer. The softest part of the wood burns a lot easier, of course, because it's softer. This comes into consideration and play when you need to rub off the burnt wood. When you start rubbing it away, the softer part will start to wear away and groove, if you will, and then the harder part raises, comes to the surface, and you get this wavy sort of effect to the wood, and it looks and feels great. The texture is lovely. So that's what I've been doing. Again, there'll be instructions and materials and what have you that you'll need if you want to do that yourself at the end. That's one of the reasons I've been doing this now is not only is the texture really good, but the contrast between the burnt and the light woods from the rubbing. You can persistently rub away with a wire wool, then you take a wire brush to it afterwards. And the difference in contrasts of color is really, really special. And for myself, on this one, I used a Mylan's beeswax finish to bring the color out even more. Of course, you can see that right there, and it just really starts to jump out at you now. And for the desk, I used a clear coat epoxy. I wasn't too thrilled with that, so now I've gone with this, and it's much better. Now, having used a beeswax, I let that set overnight so it has time to dry. And simply just a matter of polishing it up now. You can use a lint-free cloth if you like and do it by hand. I got a buffing wheel and stuck it on my drill, and it came up really nice. So it got really glossy, really smooth, and it just enhances that finish that you've worked so hard for. It really adds a lot to it. I'm really pleased with it. Easy job to do. Again, just stick it on your drill and away you go. Okay, now here it is, all reassembled in the living room. Got it all back in its place, and there was just the side left to fit. I put some paneling on the backboards as well for something really special coming up next. Before we get there, I'll talk about the mirror that I stuck on the side. I had a design that I wanted to do that, but I got a cat, as you'll see in some of the pictures, and the cat would climb up and, quite frankly, tear it to pieces more than likely. So it gave me a chance to put a nice wall mirror up there, which actually adds a lot more light to the room because it's right beside a window. Oh yeah, I stuck a TV on the bottom of the bed as well. Well, I don't have a big TV, so I now do. Okay, as special as all that is, the wall bed, the preparations, the plans, the wood burning, and the TV on the bottom of it, this is what it's all been building up to. The mural that's going inside on the back wall, on that black wall. This is what it all comes down to. And this is why I'm making a tutorial to try to get people to listen to what I'm saying. This is called The Mask of Summer. It was designed and created by a lady by the name of Vivian Saunders. She's the daughter of a friend of mine, Pamela Saunders, who we used to attend the same church, Christ Church here in Lowestoft. The reason it's so significant is because I saw this picture in a vision, closed my eyes and saw this thing before I went to sleep one night, before I even had entered into Pamela's house, and this picture was hanging on their wall. So I see it as a blessing from God. I mean, I couldn't possibly have known about it because I didn't know them personally. I'd never been in their house. And then I walked in. You can imagine my surprise when I looked on the wall and saw it on their wall, and I had to explain to them, hey, I've seen this before. In fact, a few days ago, I saw this in a vision. Now, the reason I am painting on my wall is a testimony, is to testify to people, to say, look, this is real. This isn't a joke. Things like this are actually written in the Bible. God says, I will pour out my spirit upon people, and you will prophesy and have visions and dream dreams. And it's not a joke, it's the real thing. This is why I need to share this with people, because it is real. And the whole scenario is it's real because Jesus Christ actually defeated death. The whole story is true. It's not fake, it's the real thing. This is one example of how God blesses people. For others, he speaks to. Others, such as myself, he shows visions to occasionally, and I have the privilege to paint these pictures and share this as my witness. This is his blessing to me and a blessing to you. I just pray you'll all start to believe and speak to him yourself. I don't know what you're waiting for. Talk to Jesus and see how he blesses you. Okay, first and foremost, I want to give all credit where credit is due, and that, of course, has got to be to God. God provides the vision, God provides the gifts. What you do with this is entirely up to yourselves. In this scenario, God bless Vivian with her artistic talent, and to that end, I'm going to give you a link to Vivian Saunders' other artworks. You can follow that if you're interested in following up her artwork, and that's that. God bless.